Well, I would look at it from two different layers, physical security and then information security. And let's talk about information security real quick. A quick way that companies can help themselves right now is do what I call two-factor authentication. That is kind of set up to where an end user puts in their password, but then they receive a certificate or a numeric password to say, now I want you to enter that in again. So having two factors as opposed to one, it's a quick solution to kind of keep the intruders out. Another quick solution would be what I would call DLP. That would call data loss prevention. This kind of scans your network out there for like what I'll call PHI or PII, Social Security numbers, date of birth. Who out there in your company has this information? Better to be proactive as opposed to reactive. And then physical security, we'll look at that. It's key cards, it's who's going to get into your building, it's access to your networks that are out there. Everything needs to be looked at from a holistic approach when you're going to address that. From an IT perspective, it's very important to understand what your professionals have access to. I would revert not to use general administrative passwords. I would assign everyone in the company their own username and password, and then the privileges associated with that should be looked at. Does this particular employee actually need root access to this box? And we have to look at it again from a monitoring perspective. If employees change careers, you have to shut down their access to certain things and then move it to a different thing. That goes back with roles and responsibilities. Being a former software developer, I can tell you that if I needed data in order to test a different system, I would just go grab production data. In today's age, you can't do that anymore, and the controls need to be in place if you are going to grab production data that it's thoroughly scrubbed down. Dummy data is always the best way to go forward. Therefore, you don't have to worry about where it's moving or what's happening with it. Also, you have to look at it from a rogue program perspective. If you're going to allow your developers to download open source and other things that are out there, you have to monitor that, because in a lot of open source that's out there, unfortunately, if they went to the wrong website or they clicked a link that was out there in a blog, it could download malware or different other nasty things that you don't want in your environment. Again, you have to weigh those risks and controls that are out there. Well, you can look at it from a couple of different ways. One, from Sarbanes-Oxley testing, you can look at roles and responsibilities for people within the company. That should be done, I would say, probably on a monthly basis. I know a lot of companies out there maybe do it either semi-annually or annually. People change roles and responsibilities all the time. It's always good to keep access to that. Monitor, monitor, monitor. Who has access to what? Where is the data being stored? If you understand where your data is at, your sensitive data, who has access to that, and you need to review those privileges that are there to make sure, do we need people to have that type of access? Security assessments are done in a lot of different ways. Let's talk about a few of them real quick. You have penetration testing, which is done. So that could be an external penetration test where you hire a third party to test your website to kind of see what type of vulnerabilities are out there on the outside. Then you have internal penetration testing, which I call social engineering. Here you'll actually hire, again, another third party to come in and see how far can they get within your network before you're going to capture them. For example, you hire a contractor, he comes in, he jacks in. How far is he going to be able to get? What type of access does he need to enter in information in this particular system? How much data can he actually get out of your system? So that's kind of what I call the penetration testing and the internal testing that's as well. Other types of things that you can do, again, you can bring in a third party, you can actually do it yourself. Segregation duties is exactly what we talked about. Running those lists up against different types of employee database that are sitting there going, does this person actually need access to this? What's going on with that? Doing software audits. Do you have all the licenses that you said that you had, and is it on all the proper machines? And if you pull somebody's machine and it has a particular software that you don't know about, well, that's another problem in itself. Asset tracing is another great thing. How many assets are within your network that you know about? Do you have a server sitting out there that you had no idea somebody plugged in? And the last one, again, I'll just mention is DLP scanning. Where's all the sensitive information at? Social security numbers, date of birth, credit cards, are they on certain different types of databases, servers that are out there? Are they sitting on someone's laptop that you had no idea about? Scan your email files that are out there. Again, it's a quick thing to do, but what if somebody's receiving information, for example, a client list that has social security numbers on it? Do you really want that running wild within your network in case that person accidentally lost their laptop, or if your email system got hacked? Again, it's kind of preventative maintenance. Know what you're going to get before it gets into you.